As a reminder, in our Play Big series, we're covering the 5 building blocks of demand gen, and we break those out to be target marketing, value proposition, and messaging, content marketing, sales and marketing alignment, and then integrated campaigns and planning. So up next, we are covering value proposition. And value proposition is broken up into like these kind of messy 3 areas that I'll call value proposition, messaging, and positioning. Value proposition, I would think about as the promise that you're delivering to your customers generally. It would show up on your website. It'll be hung on your front door. It's kind of like what you stand for as a company. That is your value proposition. And when you start tailoring your value proposition for specific segments, that value proposition becomes positioning. You're going to position your way in one way for one type of customer, and you're going to position yourself in a completely different way for another type of customer. And it can be really small changes or big changes. So it could be changes in the way that you speak or message or speak about the benefits that you offer. And it could, in other ways, be about colors you use, language that you use, and even the way that you weave the message together, maybe in a different way. So there's all different ways of doing that. Value proposition is the promise that you make as a brand. It'll show up on your website. Your positioning is going to be a version of your value proposition to a specific target audience. And your messaging is really when you mix the two of those together. So for example, your value proposition would show up on your homepage as you do X, Y, and Z. It may show up a little bit differently as you have maybe a persona or an industry section of your website that says, this is how we do X, Y, and Z for you specifically. And then your messaging is really like taking the value proposition of what you do so well, unlike anybody else, and really making sure that it's very apparent to that particular segment that it's why you do it so well and why it should matter to them. So it's 3 very unique things that actually get woven together to create, the art of a brand in the copywritten form. This environment makes it important to revisit because you're not really serving the same pains that you were serving probably a few short weeks ago. So if you're serving a different pain, you're probably speaking a different language, which means that your messaging, value proposition, and or positioning are shifting in some way. So it's definitely important to have a pulse on, to be evaluating, to be thinking about, and then on top of whatever you used to say about yourself and why you did it better, I think the challenge that many companies have is now they have to say it in a more empathetic way that doesn't come across as insincere or insensitive, and that is going to be by starting with what the customer needs first. So it's all very tricky stuff, which is why we cover it on the blog, and we're covering the entire series. As a reminder, we put weekly topics out in each of these 5 core areas. Encourage you to follow us weekly. Please share. And our next topic that we will be discussing is going to be sales and marketing alignment. All right, thanks. Bye.